following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray. Feeling good, Lewis. Well, I'm back today and tomorrow. We have our good friend Norm Winsky from Astro-trend on at 9:30. But we got to take care of business today, folks, at 100 South Broad Street here in Philadelphia. We have a banking situation where the banks are going to be open on Saturday in Louisville, Kentucky, for the running of the Kentucky Derby, the first Saturday in May, and we have a horse that is the hunch bet of all times. There's a horse running called My Man Sam, and I talked to Arch Crawford yesterday, and of course his nickname is Sam, and I told him, I said, gee, you ought to take a look at that. And so I went online and I looked at the horse, and you won't believe this, but the name of the horse is My Man Sam, but the horse's grandfather was named Arch, which is Arch's name, but his nickname is Sam. So I said, Sam, you got to put a little saver on this one, and he's 25-1. Folks, this horse, he's going to give you your $2 worth, because he comes from way, way back. He'll walk out of the gate pretty much, and he's always last, but he's always in the money, first, second, or third. So these are 13-year-old boys that are running, so they're just baby athletes. They develop very quickly, as you know, so a month or two either way can make a big difference. But he's running 2 days after his birthday, too, which is also interesting. So keep an eye on that one. My Man Sam in the Kentucky Derby. And believe me, the last time I had a winner, I think, was Seabiscuit. He wasn't in the Derby. He was running against War Admiral back in 36. I think I had 2 to win on him. But I had Ferdinand in 1987. I had Thunder Gulch in 97. And Real Quiet in 2001, I believe. So I don't get him very often, but keep an eye on this horse. He's going to give you a lot of excitement for your $2. Okay, let's get to the markets. The main things that have happened since I was on last week was the fact that we had this yen go down to the exact 20-man line at that 106 and change level. We touched below 106 rather briefly. We rallied about 170 pips off that bottom, so that tells you that 20-man line is pretty important, at least with the yen. But the one we want to start off with today are the silver and gold, because we did make some major, 3 drive patterns in the gold, and we made some nice ABCD patterns in the silver when we were making those highs last week. Now, gold has backed off exactly $34 from the high, and that's the harmonic number in gold. So, that's a good place if you're interested in, looking to buy gold. The only thing that looks negative from this aspect is that we've had some drops in open interest, during this time, but the open interest is actually acting more negative than it is bullish. That's the only thing that I can see negative about it. Anything below this 1272 level in the gold would tell us that we're probably going to drop a great deal to the downside. Silver, that number would be around 1710. We did drop 90 cents off of the high, but it's still quite early. It came down very, very orderly, a 4-day correction. So the trend in the gold and silver certainly appear, to be intact, but we are starting to see signs in this open interest that get a little scary. This is what happened to us in 2011 when we were at $49 in the silver and $1,900 in the gold. We were seeing the same type of a situation occurring. So those are the things that I'm watching this week. Not really much happened. We did top on the Mercury retrograde again, which was important. But the most important thing, I believe, from a standpoint is I'll put this yen chart up to show you what it looks like, because it was pretty much spot on, and that means a lot, from the currency perspective. This is a weekly chart, going back to 2006, and this is our longest correction that we've had since 2011, when Tom O'Brien coined the term King Dollar. So the dollar is at a really important area, which we've mentioned several times before. And I wanted to show you this chart, which is the chart going back over the last several months in the dollar index, because if you like, BCD pattern, that's exactly what we had happening in the dollar index. It was making a 38% retracement at the same time that we were seeing this happen in the dollar yen. So this is very important. Now, we had a big move too, because the euro, once it went above the 115.50 level, that completed the ABCD in the dollar index, because the euro is 53% of the dollar index. And since that time, the euro has dropped better than 140 pips in just a couple of days. Same thing occurred in the pound, up at the 147 level, where we've dropped over 230 pips in just a couple of days. So something big has happened. I don't know if that's going to be the final bottom. It's a test. I'm not sure. But when things move that quickly out of these areas, you have to pay, really particular attention. And that's what we're seeing. Same thing in gold and silver. We hit those ABCD patterns to the upside. In fact, there were three of them in gold at 1303, and then we've had a back off of $34, which is not very much. That's just a normal correction. Anything in gold, and if we can get gold above 1304 now, it could really take off again and make another big leg up. What we have going on right now is we've got a 78% retracement going on in the crude oil up at this $46 per barrel level. So if you're inclined to look at the short side of the of the crude oil, that 46 level was a perfect 61 percent retracement of that level. So you want to keep an eye on that if you have an inclination to do that. The stocks have been down 4 out of 5 days in the S&P and the Dow, but they've been down 9 out of 10 days in the NASDAQ. That's very bearish, folks. That means that these rallies are being sold, and that's usually not a very good sign. So keep that in mind as you're looking at some of this stuff. Don't get too bullish from these levels, because it can be very painful if we do get more of a correction. We stopped exactly where we should have stopped the last time I was on the air. We were looking at the NASDAQ at around 4,300. It hasn't really gone anywhere. It's still trading at around 4,320 or something. So it's had a very, very small bounce. We've had some big moves, in some very important stocks like Netflix and Microsoft and Starbucks. Some of these other stocks have been hit really bad lately, but it's like Amazon and Facebook kept things at 877-663.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile based scanner in the industry, powered by the acclaimed With TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Larry takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Okay, folks, we're going to take a look here at the, who's posted the wrong one? Hold on here 1 second. I've had a question about the grain markets, and the one that I'm watching the closest between beans, wheat, and corn is the wheat market, because it has the best pattern of anything that of the three that I look at. The corn is good too, very similar, but the wheat is the easier one in my opinion. And the wheat, really follows along with the lunar stuff really good. So I'm watching that, very, very closely. We'll have our good friend Norm Winski on here in about 12 minutes, and maybe he can give us some ideas of what we might look at for the next lunar cycle. Norm comes on when he has something really interesting, and I believe he's 8 for 8 of the calls that he's made on the things that we've been watching. So we need to pay attention to that. Remember, the first time he's wrong, he'll be history. He'll be in the paddock area washing down the horses instead of being in the winner's circle with everybody here at TFNN as we cash our tickets in My Name is Sam. My Man Sam. That's the one we want to look at. Okay, I think it's the 2-horse, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not exactly sure, but we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, the wheat has a beautiful Gartley pattern here being formed. I'll bring it up here. I think I already did. Yep, I did. And so we'll be able to take a look at it here. If we can get wheat down about another 17 cents from where we're trading right now. We're trading around 470 in the wheat, and I'd like to see it get down to around the 460 level, which would be a 78% retracement. It'd be an ABCD pattern, and just have a lot of things lining up where your risk would not would not be very much at all. That's the main thing that we're trying to do here at TFNN, is to keep the risks down. And if you listen to John Logan, he has some good profiles on some of these things. Like today, he was talking about the potential resistance in the gold up around that 1293 level, which would be a 61% retracement back of the previous move. He talked about crude oil. He was spot on about that one. That was right around $46 per barrel, and that was the number on the 786 in the crude oil. And as you've seen, I posted the crude oil chart into the room, and you can see the 3 drive pattern that we had here on the daily. So that's poised, to have a move to the downside. One other question is from the international standpoint. We've had equal sell-offs in Hang Seng and the DAX. China has really done very little, but the Hang Seng has came off. But the one that has been hurt the most, of course, is the Japanese market, the Nikkei Dow. Whether it's related to what the finance minister did as far as the negative interest rates, or I'm not sure, because when you do a pattern, they don't tell you anything about the news. You just look at the sum total of the buyers and sellers, and that's what you're really trying to do. But we've had a big drop in the Japanese market to the equivalent of about 10% in about 4 trading days. They're closed right now due to a holiday that they're due to open, I believe I think they either open tomorrow or Monday. Those are the days that we want to watch it. But this market is very bearish. As you can see, going back a year, that we've made lower highs. Each one of them was very symmetrical. In other words, between the A and the C and the C and the D, all of that is beautiful symmetry as far as time and price come together, and culminating with the bearish Gartley that we had back on the 28th of April, when we had Mercury going retrograde. And you can see what has happened to the downside. Folks, I hope you realize that when I'm talking about the Kentucky Derby, that's with tongue in cheek. The most you want to bet is a $6 combination, $2 to win, $2 to place, and $2 to show. And you have a little bit of fun if you like to watch the horses run, as I do. And it was fun, because when I was at Drexel, well, we had Drexel had boxes, private boxes at Santa Anita and also Hollywood Park. But they during Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, the market was open until 1 or 2 o'clock, and so most of the people, nobody used it Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. They used it Saturday or Sunday. So Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we would go and we would have private parking. We had our meals taken care of, and it was for taking clients. And so we had a lot of fun over the years doing that, and I met so many really, really fun people, which was the most important part of the whole thing anyways, the people part. Okay, we had another question about the price of Apple. Folks, I still believe that Apple is heading towards below $80 a share, somewhere around the area of 78 to 75 is what it looks like to me. There's several ABCD patterns that I put in the newsletter over the past couple of weeks, showing you that that's what it's looking at. Remember, this has been the darling of the financial world for many years, and all that has changed over the past 6 or 7 months as we've been talking about it. Is the fact that no matter what kind of news came out, the stock was not rallying. That's a bad sign. When you have really good news come out and the stock does not rally, that means you don't have a whole lot to ask it to do, because if you get bad news and the price goes up, that tells you that the news is out of the way. But if you get good news and the price goes down, that is that is where it moves to the downside. So anyway, someone asked the question, Santa Anita, is that where I was on Seabiscuit? No, that was actually before I was born by about 4 years, but I certainly love the movie Seabiscuit. But my favorite, there are 2 favorite horse racing movies that I love. The first one is with Richard Dreyfuss, called Let It Ride. Oh man, it's really a classic of what it's like being at the racetrack, and it's really a fabulous movie. It's just really, really good. You should watch it. Terry Garr is a co-star in it, and It's really fantastic movie. Anyway, but you have to like horse racing or you don't like it at all. So that's the main thing. Anyway, this is what we're looking at. The main things. The three major. I've got Norm coming on here in a minute, so I want to reiterate the things that I think are the most important from a cycle and pattern time frame. Number one is the Mercury retrograde that we had on the 28th. That was the top of the market. We've turned down there. We've been down for 6 or 7 days, so we're very, very oversold. We should get a bounce, which we're getting here overnight. But as I mentioned, the NASDAQ is down 9 out of 10. That means you're in an outlier event, so anything could happen. The second thing is that yen has hit that major 38% retracement, as has the US dollar index. Both of those hit those spot on. So if the euro gets above 115, all bets are off, because then the dollar is really going to probably go into the tank. But until that time, the dollar has made some type of a major bottom without too much thought, because you have a perfect ABCD at a 382 coming off of a 2011 low. So pay pretty good attention to that. 877-927-6648. Stay tuned. We'll try to have Norm Winsky on right after the break.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters. In quiet markets, investors search for new trading opportunities. We'd like to introduce you to a new product that provides opportunities even in flat markets. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a new and innovative Chicago-based exchange registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their trading platform. Nadex never charges a fee to use their platform, which even includes real-time charts and full customization capability. Nadex's unique short-term binary options allow traders and investors to capitalize on strategies even when the underlying markets are quiet. Nadex's innovation has allowed them to come up with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com, or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back with our friend Norm Winsky from Astro-trend. Norm, are you there?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me okay, Larry?
I hear you perfectly. Your methodical little voice is coming in just fine. I want to ask you a question before we get started. I guess we're going to start with the soybean chart today and talk about the new moon and stuff.
Righto.
Okay, the person, someone has emailed me about this syzygy that you're going to talk about. So this is what you want to talk about. So why don't you just go ahead and describe syzygy and what it means, because you've been really accurate with some of these trading times that you've given us. In fact, that's the understatement of the year. You haven't been wrong yet. Did you know that, Norm?
I did not know that.
Yeah, you've done a really fabulous job. We've got people that watch you very closely. And of course, they report to the Attorney General if you're wrong. So you just keep being right and you'll be okay. Fire away, Norm. It's your show.
Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you very much. And buenos dias, right? For
Cinco de Mayo. You got it. Mexican independence. I'm only 72 miles from the border, so we celebrate it here quite readily.
Buenos dias, Senor Larry, Anyway, so every 14 months we get a lineup between the new moon and there's something called perigee apogee. Perigee is when the moon is at its closest point as it makes its monthly cycle around the Earth, and so every so often those two cycles line up, and we had one in April, and now the cycle is culminating. It was sort of getting even better here with let's see, that's tomorrow afternoon. We're going to have a new moon, and this will be a very tight one. And the new moon will be at 3:30 Eastern time, and the perigee is, I think, just after the close at like 4:05. So it's like 35 minutes difference between the exact new moon and the perigee. So it's very tight, and so these often correspond to short-term turns in the market, and often bring triggering. Also can trigger. Natural disasters, flooding, seismic activity. I just saw a piece on the news last night. Some seismic expert out in California was saying, this is a near quote, word for word. He said the San Andreas fault was locked and loaded to go. I don't know if you heard that or not, Larry, but they think that the San Andreas is way overdue.
Well, I heard it every year since 1974. So one of these days he's going to be right, just like me. So someday it'll happen, but I don't know.
There you go. We have these. We're going to talk also about the station points. Planets going retrograde direct. We had a double trouble there on the weekend of the April 15th, which I was on your show talking about, and I said I don't even know if I want to go out of my house because I called it the death weekend. I saw some really bad stuff possibly happening. And, we had the big earthquake there in Ecuador. I think it was a 7.3. And actually, we had several earthquakes, over several days there, and leading up to that April 16th. Anyway, so back to the new moon here now. And so you want to watch that. Now, what's exciting about this is, is when we get one of these, we get multiple phenomena occurring close to each other. And that's so late Friday afternoon, we have it's called the syzygy, where you have two lunar cycles come together like that. And then we also have over the weekend, it's actually early Monday morning before the market opens, Jupiter will turn direct. What is for the new folks out there? The planets, it's called apparent motion, how the planets look from here on Earth. So the analogy is if you're driving in your car and you're going 60, and somebody passes you going 70, even though you're doing 60, if you glance out your side window, you might get the impression you're actually going backwards by 10 miles an hour. And that's what happens with the different planets going at different speeds. We're passing planets, they pass us. We look out in the sky, and it looks like the planets have stopped their motion and reversed the direction. And when they stop momentarily, that's called a station point. And there's two kinds. The one where they turn to go direct, that's forward, or when they stop to turn and go backwards, that's called retrograde. And so we have, and the most powerful of these are the outer planets. Those are the planets from Jupiter on out. Those are the big, slow-moving cycles. And so it's like, if you think of these planets like boats or ships, you have the planets near the sun, like Mercury and Venus, are like little speedboats. When you get out to Jupiter and farther out, those are like your big ships. So then they turn, they cause a big wave. They have a much longer term effect. So we have Jupiter turning in Virgo, and that's the sign for soybeans, and that's why I'm going to be talking about soybeans. Also, Jupiter has to do with oats, but nobody cares about oats. And then the stock market is the big basket of everything. So any important event, planetary event, often will affect the stock market. So here's your soybean chart. Looks like, can you see that okay, Larry?
It's coming in perfectly, Norm.
Great.
Sure
Okay, so you can see that, and what we look for a good trade, if you want to maximize your probabilities, look for a market that is getting to an extreme near one of these key dates. So we have the beans here. Jupiter's turning direct into the sign Virgo, which is the soybean sign. And you can see here we've had an extensive rally here all the way from March. I think I was on your show in right around this period here, somewhere in February or early March. And I said I like the grains, possible rally coming. And you can see we had a very robust rally here in the beans. And it looks like they might be getting to some sort of short-term top here soon. So watch for that possibly late Friday, early Monday for a possible turn in the beans. Any questions or comments, Larry?
Yes, I do. I want to correct you on one thing. You said nobody had an interest in oats. Anybody that's anywhere near Churchill Downs believes in oats because that's what the thoroughbreds eat. They eat oats.
There you go. And mares eat oats.
Mares eat oats and does eat oats. But anyway, hey, listen, let's get on to some of these things about what we have. See, the question that I have is this is happening on the 6th, which is Friday, okay, the last day of the week. What are the odds that it doesn't happen on Friday, that it could happen on Monday, like a surprise type thing?
Oh yeah, well, my window is through Monday's opening. You know, you could even on these big station points, I allow one trading day, window either way. So it could even be. It's better if it happens by Monday's opening because then the new moon effect could spill over into Monday's opening, and then you kind of get a joint. A combined effect here of the new moon at Syzygy and Jupiter going direct on Monday's opening.
Okay, that makes good sense. So, in other words, we should expect some extreme volatility starting Friday and continuing through Monday for sure.
Through Monday and probably culminating either late Friday or early Monday.
Okay,
that's the optimum window.
Sounds good.
Okay. Alrighty, moving on ahead here. Let's talk about the stock market. So Jupiter turning direct, that's an outer planet station point. So that's a heat big medicine for the stock market. And so I pulled this right out of my letter. I have a monthly letter. And speaking of the combined phenomena, you probably remember, Larry, I'm sure you do, when we had a new moon and Mercury turned retrograde on the 18th and 19th of May of 2015, which was the 19th was the high day for the year for the Dow, and later, a few hours later, for the S&P 500.
Okay, we got to pay a few bills. Stay with us, Norm. We'll be right back, okay?
Sure.
If you're looking to discover a new financial resource and diversify your financial portfolio, don't miss out on the Market Safe Commodity Solution CD from Everbank. This is the second running of their popular 5-year US dollar-denominated CD, which gives you exposure to 8 equally weighted commodities, including WTI crude oil, gold, silver, copper, nickel, soybeans, corn, and sugar. With annual pricing caps of 70% per component, you could earn up to 70% upside payment at maturity if the commodities increase in value across annual pricing dates. And should the opposite occur, your principal is 100% protected. Keep in mind, returns are based on CD performance. There's no annual percentage yield or periodic rate of interest on this indexed CD. Don't miss out. Take advantage of this financial resource designed to grow with the times. The May 19th funding deadline is quickly approaching. So hurry over to everbank.com/TFNN for the CD's term sheet and other important product details and disclosures. Once again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. This advertisement is sponsored content. Everbank is a member FDIC.
It's 2016 and TFNN has a brand new programming lineup to kick things off. Starting January 4th, Swim Lessons by Thinkorswim and TD Ameritrade will be airing 5 days a week at noon Eastern Time. Join hosts Scott Connor, Kevin Hinks, and Cindy Faber as they host their daily options program live at noon 5 days a week with no commercials for the entire hour. Nico DeHaan and Paige Clark will be moving their program, Living a Primal Lifestyle, to twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 7 a.m. until 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Wake up with Nico and Paige and start your day off right. The Bull Bear Binary Option Hour by Nadex will now be live Mondays and Fridays at 10 a.m. Start and end the week with the three hosts, Tom O'Brien, Tommy O'Brien, and Daryl Martin, as they break down the world of trading binary options and spreads. For all the details on the new 2016 programming lineup, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Catch the Money Masters as they teach you the art of mastering money when it comes to trading and investing. Next on TFNN.
Okay, we're back, and we have Norm Winski on the line. Norm, continue on with our stock section.
Yes, sir. So we're going to talk a little more about the outer planet station point, one of the most powerful things in my methodology. If you ask me to pick one thing, that would be the thing I would pick. And there's 3 things that we can observe, have observed in the past based on these. And that's, first of all, it's very good. High batting average on forecasting major change in trend. Number 2, that often occurs within one trading day of the high or the low of the month. That's some very valuable information for a trader, and it also has the potential to invert the planetary energy so that negative energy can be positive or vice versa. If you're familiar with the Bradley model, we all know about inversions, and I'm often able to forecast when inversions are going to occur. So keep that in mind. We have the Jupiter turning direct early Monday morning before the opening. So we're going to be looking for the stock market to get some sort of extreme here. We'll be looking at the S&P chart here in a minute and see if the market's going to get to some sort of extreme, which would set up a potential for a very good trade. I'm not sure, since we just went down for 2 days and now we had an overnight bounce, whether that's going to be a high or low yet or not. I was leaning toward if we continue back down into the weekend, then we'll be looking for a short-term low. And if it rallies back up into the weekend, then be looking for a high. So anyway, and reinforcing that window, this weekend window, and there's actually, let me just jump back here. The other big window coming up is the weekend of the 20th, when Mercury will turn direct. And that will be the same weekend. There will be a full moon. So there you have 2 phenomena occurring again together. This is kind of the opposite point of, you remember May 19th, 2015, Larry, when we had a new moon and Mercury was turning retrograde. That turned out to be the high day of the year. So this is sort of the opposite point. Mercury will turn direct near a full moon on over the weekend of the 20th. So that's kind of exciting, reinforcing the weekend coming up here, the window we have coming up here. I have some interesting Gann and Fibonacci mathematics. If you count from the March 6, 2009 low, we have a Fibonacci count of 2,618 days. That equals May the 6th. And if we have Lucas numbers are close relative to the Fibonacci numbers. And if we square the Lucas number of 122.992, that equals 15,127 days. We add that to the major, I bet you remember this one, Larry. Remember the low 12, December 9th, 1974. That brings us to May the 9th, 2016. So, and if we add 111, that's, and square that, gain like the square numbers, that gets you 12,321 days. to the major low close of August the 12th, 82. That also brings you the 6th of May, and that's on Friday. So we have some interesting cycles and mathematics, harmonics here, all pointing to this huge window coming up this weekend. Okay, and so there's your numbers, and let's go look at the S&P chart real quick. This is what we had as of last night on the S&P 500 cash, and you can see here we are bouncing off this line. I think overnight we had a significant aspect overnight, which would indicate we could get a bounce here. When I looked a little while ago, it looked like the rally was fading a bit. If we break that green line along this green line right here, that would be probably very bearish, and would project potentially much lower prices. If we go back up here to this red line, that could be a good shorting opportunity. And also, we might be forming, if we rally back up, we could be forming a little kind of a head and shoulders here. Here's your shoulder, here's your head. We could bounce back up to this level here about what was that, about just 2080 area. Then you could form another shoulder for a head and shoulders, but we have to wait and see how that works out. If any questions or comments, Larry?
Yeah, so far I've followed it very closely. In fact, the way you mentioned the importance of the 6th, which is Friday, and then also coming into Monday, this would weakness, and the fact that we're down 9 out of 10 days, in the NASDAQ, another washout day below that 4,300 level in the NASDAQ would set up a potential for a good bounce, possibly starting on Monday. But the other thing that I've always, I keep an eye on, sometimes these dates can be acceleration dates, where, the market just absolutely explodes out of that area. Have you noticed that happening before, Norm?
I'd say that works. That you might get that maybe 10 to 20% of the time, 15, somewhere in the ballpark, about 15% of the time.
Yeah.
I think a high percentage of the time, though, they are. If you get the market at an extreme point, they are a high percentage of the time they're turning points. You're a lower high. You can also get the other exception would be if we trade it into like a wedge or a triangle. You come to an apex, and then you could get a breakout one way or the other. But the optimum, the ideal setup is if you get the market to an extreme, that's going to be your optimum setup for potentially a good trade.
Okay, now with Mercury in retrograde motion, it usually, you make bad decisions during that time when you're signing contracts and stuff. Does that the same thing work with a signal as strong as this one that we have with the Syzygy and everything? Will Mercury retrograde have some type of effect on that or not?
I don't know the answer to that, Larry.
Well, then that's okay. We'll find someone who does. Thank you for joining.
I don't know.
Well,
but don't sign any important contracts during Mercury retrograde. You'll have to wait till about the 20th of the month to do that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting on that 20th of the month when we have the full moon. That'll be really interesting because
anyway, if you don't have, if you get any more questions, or I'll go ahead and tell the folks how they can get all the free stuff.
Yeah, let me post that in here, and so that they can get all of your Skype and your email and everything.
And make sure they get this email right here, Larry, the nwinsky at embarkmail.com, because if you go on my webpage there, that email is not working right now. So we want this email, nwinsky at embark, embarkmail.com. You can also reach me on Skype if you're overseas. Skype, norm.winski, norm.winski. And you can call me. I'm in sunny Florida, and be happy to talk to you. So here's what you get. So if you contact me, you can get the I have a monthly letter. Actually, I have two parts of my letter. There's the bigger picture part of the letter, and then I have intraday stuff where we often can time the turns during the day within a few minutes. And then we have the bigger picture part, and so there's two parts of that. And I'll give you get a class to go through and learn all this stuff. I do Astro, I do fractals, I do teach you advanced Fibonacci timing, and all about my Fibonacci model. And let's see what else. It'll be like a crash advanced class, a college course for traders. So looking forward to helping that. The class is usually about 3.5 to 4 hours, and you'll get to learn how to use my letter and how that might be able to help you in your trading. I have just so you'll know anybody new out there who doesn't know who I am. I have over 40 years experience. I'm a former Chicago floor trader. I was on the CBOE and the Chicago Board of Trade back in the 70s and the 80s. And I'm an old dinosaur like Larry, right, Larry?
A very old dinosaur. I understand that well.
Yep. So anyway, everybody get out your mint juleps. I'm going to be working on picking the horses this sometime here between now and race time. And so hopefully we'll find some good opportunities. Everybody have a great weekend and a great day. I think I hear the music coming behind us there, right?
Yeah, we're finished. So thanks a lot, buddy. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Larry. You take care. Thanks for coming back on the show so I could talk with you,
You bet, buddy. Bye-bye.
Okay, looking forward to helping all your folks.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, folks, we're back, and we want to thank Norm Winsky for being our guest. Remember, folks, when we do these shows, these are all probabilities. There's nothing that is 100%. We save the 100% stuff for ourselves. We don't give it to anybody else. So be sure that you remember that this is all probability based, and you have to take the responsibility for your trades. We're just giving you information that you might use, might not, whatever you decide to do. That's the main thing. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but it's all based on probability. And the most important thing about probability is risk control, because that's the only part that you have control over in the risk-reward equation is the risk part. So focus on that. Winners think how much money I can lose, and losers think how much money I can win. That's why you only bet $2 on my man Sam and not $2,000. Very important. Okay, the next thing someone's asked is, do horses have horoscopes? And yes, they do. They have a birth time just like we do, and there are people that actually follow that. Norm happens to be one of them. Also, Arch Crawford does the same thing. I don't know about the probabilities behind it, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, just like everything else. The thing is, if it works more than it fails, that's the whole thing. Now, we've had Norm on here. I think this is the eighth or ninth time, and he's given us great information every time, and some of them have been, absolutely spot on. And when he's talking about what we have going on with Zizizi now, tomorrow, and into Monday, where we have a perigee, and that's called a super new moon is what it is. And then on the 20th, we have a full moon with Mercury going direct again. So keep an eye on those dates. They've worked very well in the past, and it doesn't mean they're going to work in the future. But if it lines up with things that you're looking at, like if John Logan has some critical areas to look at, then keep an eye on some of these things, because they have a tendency to work more than they fail, and that's what we're trying to do, is to give you just a little bit of an edge, when we're doing these things. So that's the main thing. So live every day in an attitude of gratitude, and may God bless.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.